to our first segment. We have a special interview, a special guest. She is the president of Invicta FC. Shannon Knapp. They do a ton of women's MMA. They develop a lot of great talent out there, and they're doing a lot of big things that's picking up a lot of steam. We're joined by Shannon Knapp. Shannon, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for being with us. Shannon, I was doing a lot of research, and obviously we've been big fans of Invicta for a little while. We do a lot to promote women's MMA. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny that they're definitely coming up, and there's a ton of talent out there, and they have a lot to offer. And you guys actually provide an amazing forum for that. I also read that you've been a part or involved in one way or another with King of the Cage, WFA, IFL, Affliction, Strikeforce, and UFC. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're no stranger to promoting. I'm sorry?
I said, yeah, it's a long list, but yes.
It's a long and prestigious list. I was going to say, you're no stranger to promoting out there, are you?
No, I've been in the space, I think, I hate to say this, but I think it's going on 12 years now.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that's incredible.
I've seen it all.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, from start to finish. I mean, does it blow your mind to see how far the sport of mixed martial arts has come just in your tenure?
Yeah, it really does. And it's very exciting to have been part of that, and now to take all that experience and knowledge and apply it to the new movement for the female athletes. Because I'm a huge advocate for the sport and for the athlete.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's you guys are really doing a great job over there. I was wondering what or whose idea was Invicta, and how did it all come to fruition?
It was basically both my business partner, Janet Martin, and we came to the idea together. She had been doing some research studies, for a thesis or a graduate program, and she had been studying, the sport, the female athlete, and things like that. And I was just, it was at that time when Strikeforce, Invicta had just purchased. There was a lot of panic set in through the female athletes about, everybody had that perception that Zupa didn't, support the female athlete.
Right.
So we had met, actually, Janet was with another promotion at that time, and I was helping Marloes Koenen, and she had met, to talk to me about Marloes, and as we started the conversation, we realized that there was such a need for something, and then it was off to the races from there.
It's amazing. It's funny because I find it a little ironic that the term Invicta is actually a Latin word. It means invincible or incomparable. I figure that's pretty appropriate considering you guys do something that basically nobody else does and specialize only in women's MMA and bringing up that talent, right?
Yeah, and that's why we chose the name. And of course the Phoenix, you're probably familiar with the Phoenix in our
right.
logo and stuff like that. So it all kind of goes together and it makes sense. And
absolutely,
yeah.
It's incredible. I noticed that. Obviously you guys are building a brand like everybody else, but now you find yourself in the position where you guys actually have Olympic medalists that are actually competing under the Invicta FC brand. What do you think that does for the legitimacy of your organization?
I think it helps, of course, but I don't think it's the be-all and the end-all of everything. I think that every female that is competing under the banner is important and brings something, to the sport itself for the females. So it definitely helps, but I think that every day, every female athlete makes a difference. So. Oh
yeah, no question. You literally have athletes. Top tier athletes coming from all different types of discipline. It's not just Olympic style wrestling, but it brings legitimacy just in the sense that all these Olympic athletes now are looking for a home. It really goes to show that MMA is really coming up, and there's actually money to be made now, and a place to go for Olympic caliber athletes now, not just in wrestling but judo as well. Everything really.
Yeah, I think so. Boxing, you could look at every aspect of it. I think the thing is that I think if you put on good matchups, that technically skilled, sound athletes against each other, then I think it all brings something great to the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. It was funny because on the Olympic medalist part, real quick, if you look, Sara McMann's one of the amazing fighters that are fighting under your banner now, and it's funny because if you look at her picture, she looks so sweet and innocent, and then you look at her credentials and you're like, my God, this girl's a killer out there. It's amazing.
Sara is very talented, and I will tell you that Sara has moved on to Strikeforce now.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
It was a mutual an agreement for her to move on. Yeah, I think Sarah, I think the end result is everybody's, gunning for Rhonda that's
Right.
sitting at the top of the hill now.
Right.
So, I think it's a logical move for Sarah when, she has family and you don't know how many years, she's going to continue to compete. So we were all in agreement, and, it just happened, I think, a month ago or less.
A little bit less than a month ago. Well, you know what? To counteract that, you guys actually got Sarah Kaufman from Strikeforce, although she just got injured in training camp. How frustrating is that for you guys?
It would have been really frustrating if there was, no way, no great replacement, but we had a great replacement. We had on the first card we had Leslie Smith and Caitlin Young that fought to a draw, which it was an amazing fight.
I've seen it.
So, yeah, so we rematched that fight.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a suitable replacement. Now, if you look at the card itself, I mean, go on InvictaFC.com, everybody. You guys can check out the fight, the streaming and everything like that. I mean, you guys really do have a lot of depth and a lot of people that you can kind of move upward and finagle a card a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, I think, we're working every day to build that depth. There's depth, I say this, depth by definition is there. There are a ton of girls that want to fight. When you kind of get up into the upper echelon sport, that's where it gets really thin. But we have some amazing talent that's coming up through the amateur ranks now and making their way up into, the pro levels. So I think, that's the process of growing it, and it's getting better and better all the time.
Absolutely. Shannon Knapp joining us from Invicta FC. I want to remind people that we're doing some streaming right now on pfpsports.com. You can see the live interview. And speaking of streaming, you guys do plenty of streaming on your own homepage, right?
Yeah, we sure do. Since the beginning, it was always, to me, very logical to get our brand out there. And for it to reach the masses was to use the Internet and to stream the product and, give it away for free.
Yeah, I mean it's been a really positive thing for your promotion. I mean, you guys have been. I mean, you guys have been faring pretty well with that so far.
Yeah, so far.
So
no,
far.
our numbers are incredible.
Yeah.
We're extremely excited about the response. I've never seen this happen before as well. That we're going on our third show, and we're just not here in the United States. I mean, we've moved into a position of the premier women's league, across the world. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys have picked up a lot of steam in a relatively short amount of time. I mean, I think it just goes to show you what you guys have is an amazing product out there.
Well, I can tell you we're feeling the growing pains. That's for sure.
I think
it's a good problem and a good pain to have. But we went fast, 0 to 60, and very short time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, going that fast, I'm sure there's no shortage of drama and hurdles to overcome when you're dealing with any kind of business. I wanted to know just with in light of the recent streaming success, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to continue in that direction. Are you guys currently in search of a TV deal, or is that part of the future plans for Invicta?
We have just kind of started that process. I mean, we've had some offers, and some that we're entertaining, but if you get too what's the word I'm looking for? Too anxious.
Right.
And you feel that, or desperate,
yeah.
Maybe desperate's a better word, then you start yourself into these alignments and these partnerships that really are not advantageous to us as a company or to the athletes.
Yeah.
We're gonna take in our time. I think 2013 we'll make some announcements and, finalize some things, but right now we're still being very cautious about our next move.
No, I think it's a smart thing. I mean, there's no rush. I mean, there's no shortage of, regional promotions everywhere you go. I mean, what you guys have is something special. I'd hate to see, anybody with that kind of success this early on, rush anything and, bring that train down. I was also looking, it's funny because if you look and a lot of the promotions, I mean, we always like to talk about a lot of cash grabbing going on with regional promotions, but that's not the case with Invicta. I mean, you guys actually have bonuses for fighters, fight of the night, submission of the night, social media bonuses. I mean, Invicta really does try to take care of the fighters, don't they?
Yeah, and we run contests and things like that to help. People think it's all just this marketing ploy for the promotion, but we also put some of these things in place to help the female athlete, to educate her in getting herself and building the brand, helping her to get more comfortable. if you put a competition out there and you add a money value to it, it makes an athlete feel not so vain about pushing themselves.
Yeah, sure.
So,
no, I mean,
we
go ahead.
We try to make that difference.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I think when you make everything, I mean, there's incentives for people out there. I mean, people get hungry out there. Also, you guys recently cross-promoted with Japan. I mean, it's an amazing culture when it comes to combat sports. What was it like cross-promoting with Japan?
It's very exciting for us because our commitment has been that we're going to put on the best matchups, all over the world from all the talent. So to form that alliance and alignment is huge for us because there are a lot of talented female athletes there. Monday we're going to make another announcement on a country that we're working with a promotion, to in an alignment like that. So, that's part of the process of being able to make those connections and put on the best matchups in the world.
That's great. And you guys are going to make that announcement on Monday, you said?
Yeah.
Can we find that on the website, invictafc.com?
Yeah, you sure can.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, it's not earth-shattering or shaking, but it's definitely another alignment that helps us in the global process of, finding the talent that's out there and providing the best matchups that we can.
Oh, absolutely. What's funny is when you mention finding the talent and the matchups, I mean, just the fact that you guys are a premier, I consider you a premier organization just in the fact that you guys bring in quality athletes and you do quality shows. I mean, do you have a lot of female athletes just from around the country and around the world inquiring about how they get on one of your cards in Kansas City?
Oh, yeah. I love it because, Janet handles all the matchmaking, but, we get it from both ends. I mean, they contact Janet constantly. They not successful there. They contact me, But I understand that. I've been in the business and I was a matchmaker, striker. So,
for sure.
I mean, and it's, especially with us being that top tier for the female athlete in terms of an all-female organization, we get it double. So.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt about that. Obviously you've been around the game for a while. I mean, you've seen women's MMA when it was nothing. I mean, you've even seen men's MMA when it wasn't mainstream. What was it like back in the day when women's MMA was taboo and it was just something that people they weren't really sure what they thought about it? What was it like for women back then? For people who don't know.
You go back then.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be really honest because. My career has been based 95% of it working with men. Mm-hmm. And, so until I was with Strikeforce was really the first time that really worked with a female athlete. So, to me it was kind of it existed, we were aware of it, but I didn't work in promotions that, had female athletes up until that point. So, I didn't know a lot. Yeah. But that right there is enough to tell you that, it was years behind.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, elevated enough that, it was every common knowledge that we talk about.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
So, but, it's amazing to see where the whole sport itself has, come from over the past 10, 11 years.
Yeah, no, it really is staggering. I mean, you went from, we talk about it here every week. I mean, you went from a period of time where, guys had to take fights. Otherwise, they didn't make any money. They got no notoriety. And now you see fighters telling you who they're not going to fight and, when they're going to fight. And it's amazing how that's changed.
And to me, as I look in at it, it's pretty much the same thing that, I saw years ago with the men. I feel like the women are about 10 years behind.
Yeah.
In the way that you evaluate it and do your analysis of where it's at, where it's headed, where it's going.
Right.
I look at it now as our upper echelon for the females is like the Randy Couture's, the Boss Rutons, the Ken Shamrocks,
right.
At that level, at that point in time. And now these new that are coming up through the ranks as the amateurs, now you're looking at more your hybrids, I call them, that
right,
are coming
sure.
in that next wave of, that top-tier talent coming through.
Well, yeah, no, that's very appropriate that they're hybrids because that's exactly what they are. Meanwhile, they're not coming from a time where there was no money or notoriety to be gained from any of this,
Yeah, and I'll tell you this is there are a lot of their lack of opportunities is what has created this situation for them to be so far behind. They even have it's different now, of course, but they struggled to find gyms to train in.
Right.
Guys didn't want to train with them, so managers didn't want to manage them because there's no money in it.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate because it's, really comes down to money. It's not from a talent standpoint. I mean, I've gone to straight jiu-jitsu tournaments, and some of the best technique I've ever seen to come from the women's side.
See, I agree with you. I'm noticing that too.
Yeah.
I'm being educated every day.
Sure.
Because, like I said, this is a whole new thing for me because I've always worked with men. So, yeah, it's amazing to me that I'm going to step out there and say that some of these females are better jiu-jitsu practitioners than most of the men.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's genetics or what it is or gender, but definitely.
I say hips. I want to throw this out there real quick before they cut us off. We're going into break. At Shannon Knapp, it's ShanKnapp, Facebook.com/Shannon Knapp. Invicta FC 3 at Memorial Hall in Kansas City, Saturday, October 6th. Buy tickets or watch the stream on Invicta FC. Shannon, you guys do an amazing job bringing integrity to the sport, and I just want to thank you so much for being on our show.
Oh, thank you for having us. It takes each and every one of you that helps us to be successful. So we thank you for the support.
It's an absolute pleasure. Have a great day. Shannon Knapp, everybody.